Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving headfirst into one of the most beautiful, and let's be honest, famously complex worlds ever put to paper, Marcel Proust's Swann's Way. We're going to explore this incredible idea that something as simple as, say, the taste of a cookie can literally unlock a whole universe of memories you thought were gone forever. So, what's so amazing about Proust is that he doesn't kick things off with some big plot point. Nope, he starts with a feeling I think we've all had. You know that incredibly weird, powerful moment when you wake up in the middle of the night, and for a few seconds you have no idea what's real? The lines between your dream, your reality, and your memories just completely dissolve? And that's exactly where the book begins. Not with a story, but with this feeling. Imagine it. For just a few seconds, the narrator is totally lost. He doesn't know where he is. He doesn't even know who he is. Am I a kid? Am I an adult? Am I in this bed or some other bed from my past? It's this confusion that just summons the ghosts of every single bedroom he's ever slept in.
And what Proust does with these details is just brilliant. He uses these incredibly specific sensory descriptions to show us something really profound. The point is, our memories, they aren't just these abstract thoughts floating around in our heads. No way. They're physical sensations that we literally carry with us. You can feel the difference, right? That feeling of being all wrapped up, cocooned in a warm winter room versus that breezy, open-air freedom of a summer night.
Okay, so now that these memories have been triggered, it's not just feelings that come rushing back. It's an entire world. We're talking about the narrator's childhood town, Combray. And what's fascinating is that he starts to realize this place, which felt like this huge, sprawling universe when he was a kid, was really organized around two very simple opposing paths.
Yeah, the entire universe of his childhood was basically structured by these two different walks. On the one hand, you have Swann's Way. This was the familiar path, It represented his local, comfortable, middle-class world. But then there was the Gurmamont's Way. That one was mysterious, grand, aristocratic. It was the path that felt like it led straight into a fairy tale. So each walk wasn't just a walk, it represented a whole different social world, a whole different set of possibilities for who he might become.
And holding this whole world together, a single landmark. It anchored every single memory, every journey. It didn't matter where he was in Combray or which of the two paths he was on, the church steeple of St. Hilaire was always there. It was his fixed point. And it's brilliant because it oriented him not just, geographically, like a compass, but emotionally and spiritually too.
All right, so we've got the setting down. Now let's talk about the people who live in this world of memory. And we have to start with the most mysterious, the most enigmatic figure from the narrator's childhood, a family friend named Charles Swann.
And right away, we see this huge gap between how people see Swann and who he actually is. See, to the narrator's family back in Combray, Swann is, he's just the son of a stockbroker, a nice, respectable neighbor. They have absolutely no clue, zero, that when he's in Paris, this same guy is hobnobbing with the most elite aristocrats. We're talking dukes, princes. He's a close friend to royalty. I love this metaphor because it just perfectly captures how completely blind the family is to his real life. The idea that the Swann they knew, the guy who comes over for dinner, could have this secret life, this dazzling cave filled with unimaginable social treasures. Well, to them, that was just as wild and unbelievable as a story straight out of 1001 Nights. It was pure fantasy.
So, how do we get a peek into this hidden world of Swann's? Well, it all happens because of his obsessive love for a woman named Odette de Crécy. This passion he has for her completely pulls him out of his usual high society scene and drops him right into a totally different world, the kind of pretentious, middle-class artistic salon of the Verdurins.
So, the Verdurins. They had this little group they cultivated, this tight-knit circle they called the Faithfuls. And they saw themselves as this super artistic, super cool elite group, a little clan. And a big part of their identity was defining themselves against the stuffy high society they claimed to hate, which is just so ironic because that's the exact world that Swann secretly and totally effortlessly belongs to. Okay, and if you want to understand the vibe of this salon, this one little moment tells you everything you need to know. It's almost painfully awkward. So a guest compliments Madame Verdurin's white dress, her robe blanche. And Dr. Cottard, who is just desperate to sound clever, jumps in with this terrible pun on Blanche de Castile, who was a medieval queen. Get it? Blanche? Is just so forced, so awkward. It perfectly captures how hard everyone in that salon is trying to sound witty and intellectual.
So let's take a step back. We've seen this world built on fleeting memories, right? Filled with people who are totally misunderstood and these really painful, complicated love affairs. All of this brings us to the central question of the entire novel. How do you give any of this stuff meaning? I mean, how do you hold on to any of it before it just vanishes with time?
And this really becomes the narrator's main struggle. He has these incredibly intense moments of joy or sadness or beauty, but they're like sand slipping through his fingers. He just can't hold on to them. And then, finally, he discovers the answer. And it doesn't come from some huge dramatic event. Nope, it comes during a simple carriage ride.
So check this out. He's in the carriage, and he sees these two church steeples way off in the distance. As the carriage moves along, a third one appears, and from his perspective, they almost look like they're dancing against the horizon. And this sight just fills him with this deep, profound, totally unexplainable pleasure. This is the key. This is what Proust is all about. It's a pure sensation that just hits you. It bypasses your logical brain. And he has this aha moment. He realizes the joy isn't in thinking about the steeples. It's in the unique, physical feeling they're creating inside him. He knows he just has to write it down. And in that moment of finding the right words, he's not just describing something he saw. He's actually capturing the truth of that feeling and making it permanent.
And this is a little piece of what he writes. It's just beautiful. He takes this fleeting, visual moment and turns it into something solid, something permanent and meaningful, all through the act of writing, through art.
And this, right here, is the ultimate takeaway. For Proust, our real lives, they're not found in the chaotic, messy moments as they're happening. The true reality, the meaning of it all, is only discovered later on. It's found when we look back, when we reflect on those moments, and give them some kind of shape, some kind of meaning, through our memory and through art. That is the only way to truly find our lost time.
So that kind of leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? I mean, Proust's huge 7-volume search for lost time, it all kicked off with the taste of a little cookie dipped in tea. His whole journey just goes to show that our own most powerful, most profound memories might be waiting for us right now, hidden in the simplest things, the simplest sensations. So I'll leave you with this question. What taste, what sound, or what sight would you start with?